Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Saturday morning as I record this. I hope you're all okay. I hope you're all right. I hope you're enjoying the weekend. Obviously, Spurs playing tomorrow versus Nottingham Forest. We'll have a bit of a chat about that. But we're going to be talking a little bit about the January transfer market, which is only really a couple of weeks away now. And Spurs looking to be somewhat active. There's talks about players leaving and things like that. But we're going to jump in. We're going to talk about it because Thomas Frank was actually the one who sort of spoke about it, and he was saying that Spurs will be definitely active in the upcoming market. He says we'll definitely be in the market, no doubt about it. We want as many signings as early as possible, more or less after the window shut in September. It's been an ongoing process. I think that's fair to say. Spurs definitely do need reinforcements. It's fair to also say the squad is better than last year. It definitely is. There's no denying that. It's also still fair to say that the squad is still not good enough. You can be right in both regards. The squad itself. With players like Xavi Simons and Paulinho, you know, being there, it makes a massive difference. But also, Spurs, we've had injuries this year, but for the most part, Spurs haven't been completely savage like they have been in the last few years. We've had some vast injury injury lists, but Spurs really haven't had like the key core out, if you know what I mean. Like last year having 13 players out for about 4 months on and off. We've had 8 to 10, but it's been a lot of sort of those you might deem rotational pieces. You might deem the younger players, things like that. So Spurs still need quality though. We've still, Ben Davies came back the other night, but we still need another fullback. Spurs, obviously, Radu Dragic looks like he's getting closer and closer and closer to being back. Obviously, it would be a year from the ACL injuries or mid next month, I think it is. So we're due him back. That's going to help. It's another centre back. But obviously, there's still many areas to improve in that squad. We're still missing Madison and Kulusevski. You're still missing Dominic Solanke, three quite pivotal starters as well. So definitely still need those reinforcements. But speaking about a player going out, Mike McGrath was talking about Brennan Johnson, saying that he's actually understood to be one of Crystal Palace's targets for the upcoming January transfer market. I think it's fair to say again. It's fair to say again that we all like Brennan. Okay, it's fair to say again, is he the right fit under Thomas Frank? And I've always said that you give the manager the players that he thinks he needs to succeed. And I don't really think Brennan Johnson has sort of suited Thomas Frank. I don't think it sort of works with Thomas Frank, which, playing noises, I thought it might have done. But I really do think it could be an opportunity. His value should be somewhat still high. I think it's an opportunity to cash in. And what that sort of value would look like, I think is an intriguing conversation to have. He is Prem proven. He has had a lot of success in the Premier League, in terms of playing for Forest and Spurs. Scores goals, scores quite big goals at times. Okay, yes, sometimes his link-up play is left to be desired, but he does the hardest thing in football, which is score goals. And for a team like Palace, who quite often you'll find that are on the counter-attack, if you ever watch Sarr, quite often on the counter-attack, but also at the same time, not a problem that he's on their target list, but we didn't get Mark. Oh, there's a thumbs up. We didn't get Mark A. We didn't get Eze. They can pay proper money for this. If they want him, they pay proper money. There's no discount deals. It's not 15, 20 million. No, it's closer to what we originally paid for. Okay. They've got the money. There's no denying that. But also the way we were mucked around on the Eze deals and things like that, No, they'll be paying full price, 100% across the board. So we'll keep an eye on that. But look, speaking about Forest tomorrow, it's a 2 o'clock kickoff away at Forest, and I spoke about it earlier in the week after the Slavia Prague game. It's a game for me that I think we need to be winning. Forest this season down in 17th, just above the relegation zone. Have been in some good form, 3 wins in the last 5, but we are against a team who has conceded 25 goals in 15 games. And, we're basically talking about 1.5 goals a game, right? Technically a bit more, but you know what I mean? It's, not far off conceding 2 per game. And, okay, we scored the same amount of goals they've conceded. It's that sort of thing that I'm sort of taking into account. But obviously, between where we are and 4th, is 4 points. That's all it is, for the amount of times you'll hear Spurs fans complaining that the world's going to implode, we're having a rubbish season. If you finished off December strong and you had a good January, you're in the top 4. Easily in the top 4. So I think that's something we need to take into account, that it's not all doom and gloom. The world isn't imploding. We aren't having an awful season. Okay, at times the football could be a bit better. I won't deny that, but we are also not having an awful season. We're doing pretty well in the Champions League. Another good couple of games, and we could be through without even having to go into the playoffs. So, looking at it, it's an opportunity tomorrow to build. By the sounds of things, injury-wise, we're not really missing anyone new that we aren't expecting. We'll miss Destiny, Solanke, and Kulu, Matters. Obviously, Basuma's out. I know about the whole drama. I'm not getting involved. I'm not touching it with a 20-foot pole. Not interested. But a lot of players this is the other thing, with players being a bit healthier, some players are playing quite well. We're only driving, in this idea of, hey, let's breed that competition. Let's keep having these players battle it out to get starting positions. And it shouldn't be viewed as some Spurs fans going, this player's been dropped and that player's been dropped, because that's just a lazy take. We should be looking at going, God, look at that, all that competition. Look at the players that are playing well. And, we need to try and get these players minutes. That's what we want. All Spurs fans want that, is the idea that we're struggling to get all the players that we need minutes because they're all playing so well and they're all staying healthy. That's a great problem for Thomas Frank to have. And, you really got to remember, we're only about 20 games into the Thomas Frank era of competitive football. It's probably just it's somewhere between 20 and 25. I don't really care exactly. Hopefully now we're going to start finding our feet and start taking that progression forward. But tomorrow's an opportunity, against Forest. And we all want to beat Forest, not because of the club, it's because of the owner. We don't like him. Nope, I don't think anyone really in football likes him, to be honest. I'm not sugarcoating it. Normally I'm a lot more positive a person. I think he is an interesting character. And if you know anything about reading between the lines, you know exactly what I'm saying there. And look, winning this game, committing further misery to him would be great. But winning this game, more importantly for us, is taking that next step back up the table. Yes, we've had that drop. We've not played well. We've had a couple of games now where we have played a bit better. Let's take another leap. Away from home, Spurs are one of the best teams in England. It's the irony that not very good at home, but away from home, Spurs are actually probably what you would determine an elite team, which is the irony that if we just had our home form be 70% of our away form, we wouldn't be talking about the season being a potential bad season and Thomas Frank might be on the way out. We're talking about, God, we're kicking some ass. We're flying at the moment. Easy top 4. We're probably even fighting for the title at the moment. That's the hilarious thing. So, look, we'll see how we go on that one. I look forward to sort of seeing your guys' comments on the game tomorrow. Spurs' business in the transfer market, Brennan Johnson and Palace. Let me know all down below. And hopefully when I next see you, Spurs have won and we can talk even more about it. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Saturdays. Speak to you soon.